Hello, and welcome to the Afterspark podcast, an episode-by-episode recap of the Generation 1 Transformers cartoon. I'm Els.
And I'm Specs.
And today, we're going to be talking about episode number 68, The Five Faces of Darkness, Part 3. Let's talk about giant robots today, shall we?
Yep.
So, last time on the Transformers!
The Quintessons have been revealed to be the ones who have kidnapped Magnus, Cup, and Spike.
Galvatron's return, but now with even more disregard for his subordinates' lives.
Oh no, not fun. Roddy and company are able to save their friends, but the Quintessons blow up their own planet in an effort to kill our main Autobot cast.
And now, back to the episode already in progress, the Autobots escape inside the big old aerial bot ship that basically showed up to rescue them, before said ship is hit by the Quintessons' explosion.
Or, I don't know, debris from the explosion, or, I don't know, it gets damaged.
Yeah, caused somehow by the explosions the Quintessons did with their own planet.
Yeah, so everyone's flying through space, now sans spaceship, and Springer asks if there's a plan to get out of this predicament. But Rodimus just kicks up his feet and says to relax.
Our fearless leader, everyone.
Well, I mean, if I was floating through space with no control over my destination, I don't think I'd have any better choices. Elsewhere with the Decepticons, Galvatron is informed over comms that the Autobots and humans have created a space platform as the first line of defense for Earth.
One of the sweeps voices my own opinion, i.e. Galvatron's brain has been fried by the lava bath, but is quickly, metaphorically in this case, shot down by Scourge.
The cons then enter the Warp Gate, a floating sci-fi doorway in space. How does Galvatron know about this shit? Did Megatron know about this shit? Is this the equivalent of getting on a highway in space? Are we ever going to see this thing again?
No, we aren't. But obviously, the Unicron upgrade came with interstellar Google Maps. Obviously!
God damn it. On the other side of the gate, we see that Blur and Wheelie are passing by the space platform with their special delivery.
Their ship blares some alert noises at them due to Galvatron's now arrival into their vicinity.
Galvatron, Scourge, his sweeps, and Cyclonus all attack the space platform, destroying it.
Galvatron catches sight of Blur and Wheelie's ship and shoots them. Because Galvatron has like one setting.
Shooting everything.
Pretty much.
Hello, Mr. Omnicidal. On Earth, Blaster radios the Earth Defense Forces base on Mars, contacting one Marissa Fairborn.
Marissa is a reoccurring minor character in G1 as of Season 3, but has popped up in other continuities over the years.
In G1, specifically due to the time jump, it has long been accepted that her father is the G.I. Joe character Flint, aka Dashiell Fairborn.
I don't know if it's Dashiell, or what.
Dashiell, I don't
know. Neither one of us have seen G.I. Joe yet, so apologies if somebody's watching this going, that's not how you pronounce it. One of the writers has also said that Lady J was her mother. Make of this information what you will, because I don't think it's ever said, like, in the material. I do think it's really funny that this Marissa in comparison to her IDW1 version, because in that version, she's like super heavily involved with Thundercracker and his whole deal, but in G1, the two don't even meet because Stacy is dead. Also, she talks like a 1950s radio personality here, and I kind of love it.
Mm-hmm. She takes off in her own ship to render aid to Blur and Wheelie.
Blur and Wheelie elect to abandon their crashing ship, Wheelie grabbing Metroplex's transformation cog off the floor and ejecting his seat.
On the floor, guys! On the floor! Seriously, I don't get it either.
No need to shout. Wheelie's out. Now that he's got a gear to tout. I broke Specs.
That did not help my headache.
I'm sorry.
Blur follows closely behind just before Galvatron destroys their ship.
Wheelie manages to get a good hit off on one of the sweeps, shooting him in the face and disabling his navigational systems.
You know, I hope the Autobots have good insurance, except that it probably doesn't cover Decepticon attacks.
I mean, you could maybe argue that they have universal health care because they're just fixed whenever there's a problem.
Yes, but I mean, spaceships are still going to cost money.
Hell if I know. They're on the blacklist, or of like interstellar insurance companies do not cover fucking giant robots. Okay, there's a reason.
I mean, it's also not their personal ship, so who knows?
Oh God, you're right.
The sweep begs for help as he falls from the sky.
Never mind how that's possible considering they're in space, but I simply must give you Galvatron's direct quote to all this happening, which is, "Please meet your end with dignity. I despise whiners."
And to remind you guys, this is Evil Fred.
Yeah, pretty much.
We cut to the Quintessons, who are quietly chuckling in celebration of their apparent victory over the Autobots because they think they died in the planet explosion. So the Quintessons have to decide how they're going to celebrate. They're kind of similar to the Auditors from the Discworld series, but with significantly more malice.
And their fun is quickly dashed when their view screen displays the Autobots now hurtling through space.
This one minor setback is enough for them to decide that they need to ally themselves with the Decepticons. I guess if you say so, guys.
Well, they needed some reason to get them together. The Autobots eventually all land on a very sticky planet, where they are in danger of getting sucked up by some kind of cleaning machine that is pulling garbage from the goo.
I have a lot of questions. I don't think I'm gonna get any answers.
No, probably not. Maybe this is like, Interstellar Junkyard or something. I don't know why they would dump it into the goo, but...
The Autobots begin firing on the weird alien machine they've dubbed a garbage truck.
Springer is sucked up and apparently disassembled.
Roddy is able to clog the flying garbage truck's blades with goo when it tries to suck him up, and thus stopping it in its tracks.
Back to Blur and Wheelie, because this is another one of those episodes that can't focus on anything for more than 30 seconds at a time.
The two land on the surface of Io, one of Jupiter's moons, and Galvatron has evidently gotten bored and demands to be taken to Char.
Without confirming they're dead.
It's past his nap time, guys. He's got his nap.
Obviously. The Quintessons arrive on Char, offering Energon cubes to the remaining Decepticons. Dead End is the one that confronts them first.
Dead End gives no fucks, guys. He asks them to make his death painless. When the Quintessons say that they have a proposition for them, Dead End says, "Swindle, I think this is your department."
Okay, in all seriousness, Swindle is so much funnier the larger the cast is. It is one thing when you, have a small cast and you have a con artist. It is another thing entirely when you have a cast of, 30, 50 people, and they're all like, yes, here's our resident con artist, and push him to the front of the crowd, which is basically what happened here.
Yep, just throw Swindle at the Quintessons.
Yeah, no, they were like, oh, well, somebody's gotta negotiate. Yoink.
After Dead End taste tests the Energon, a bunch of other cons all come out of hiding and dogpile on top of the remaining Energon and Dead End, and it's not a lot of Energon.
In return for the Energon, the Quintessons ask the Decepticons to take out the Autobots for them.
The cons accept their offer in lieu of having any better options.
And also, may we remind you, they are, right now, still literally starving.
Also, they have no idea what's going on with their leaders.
Yeah, Cyclonus and Scourge just basically fucked off and said, we're gonna go look for Galvatron. They haven't heard from them.
Yep. So Galvatron arrives to a mostly empty Char where everyone but Blitzwing has fucked off to work for the Quintessons.
Galvatron takes this about as well as you would expect, which is not well at all.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Marissa is able to figure out that Wheelie and Blur might be on Io and heads off to find them.
The Quintessons arrive at Roddy and Co.'s location, and the Decepticons attack, ending our episode.
Join us next time for The 5 Faces of Darkness, Part 4.
It's time for the origin of the species to be revealed.
Well, that might be more informative than all of the weird nothing that happened in this episode.
Yes, this episode wasn't very informative. When you really break it down, it's Galvatron being a dumbass.
A planet exploded. Someone got stranded. Well, multiple people got stranded on different planets.
Yeah, it was okay, so you have Galvatron going through a door. You have Roddy's group ending up on Sticky Garbage Planet. You have the delivery squad ending up on Io. And that's kind of it, really, when you really get down to it. Yes. And, the Quintessons headhunting the cons to work for them.
Yes.
And that's kind of it. And, this episode, this set of 5 does this really bad, where, it doesn't really, focus on one thing for very long, so you're, constantly jumping back and forth between a bunch of things. It is super annoying.
Yeah. And, the thing that stuck out at me about this episode was Blitzwing doesn't go with everyone else, so that's why we ended up with Blitzwing fanfic Rex, so...
Fair enough! Which, speaking of which, Specs has some fanfic recs for today.
Which, as mentioned before, Blitzwing-centric, which is also partially because I had a headache. Okay, so the first one is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles by Jason Voorhees. I feel like I've recommended stuff from them before. Don't remember. It's G1 cartoon continuity, rated G. It's slash. And everything here is in, like, capitals, guys. I need to emphasize that. It's an ensemble. There's pairings here are Astro Train and Blitzwing and Octane and Sandstorm. And it's those guys and some other season 3 characters for our characters. And in summary, Blitzwing, Octane, and Sandstorm head to Char with one mission: bring Astro Train back to Autobot City. And this is actually set post-series, so it probably would have been better to use it then, but I don't think we see Blitzwing anytime after, like, the 5 Faces of Darkness.
So it could be maybe he just doesn't pop up as, like, a major part of the plot, too.
I think Galvatron just sort of kicks him out, remember?
Oh, right.
So, and it's the first in a series that this author is doing. Second fanfic recommendation is All Aboard by Lush_Specimen. It's IDW G1, rated T, / Astro Train and Blitzwing as our pairing, and characters are Astro Train and Blitzwing. And summary, stifling under the grip of functionalism, the Cybertron spins toward revolution. 2 triple changers desperate to keep their additional alt modes hidden from the Institute sneak away for a stolen moment, away from prying eyes. And it's a piece that Lush Specimen wrote to illustrate the rise of the Decepticon movement for the Rise Up Decepticon zine.
Cool.
And so, yeah, I wanted to do Blitzwing today, apparently.
And that is okay.
And that just about wraps it up for us today. Remember to check us out on Tumblr or Pillowfort as Afterspark-podcast for any additional information, show notes, or links we may have mentioned. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at AftersparkPod, all one word, and various other locations by searching for Afterspark Podcast, such as AO3, iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, just to name a few. And feel free to send us questions on Tumblr, YouTube, or AO3. Till next time, I'm Specs.
And I'm Els.
Toodles.
Somebody jumps out behind wall! Someone jumps out behind barrel!
And then someone rolls to seduce and it ends up being a weird, stupid dance thing.